Assalamu alaikum, people. You're now listening to the Jollof After Jummah podcast with myself, Abdullah.
Some of the people it's Ibs.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. It's Abdul Malik, as you all know. And we're also joined, alhamdulillah, by highly esteemed guest. What is he? He's many tags, an engineer, designer, entrepreneur, chief drip. I don't know. What else can we say? What else can we add?
I don't know what you.
Fashionista.
I don't know.
No. High-end fashionista. Hashtag £50 for a tee.
I can't even do it. I can't say that.
Boutiques only. Man said, I don't buy off the shelf. all my guys are. Sorry. Yeah, Abdul Nasir, innit? I don't know. Or Nazir. I don't know. Where are you going back today? Nazir?
Yeah. Abdul Nasir. Assalamu alaikum, guys. It's Abdul Nasir.
And you are one of the mandem, as you know.
Yeah.
It's always one of the mandem. One of the guys we grew up with, so alhamdulillah. It's long awaited, long anticipated arrival. It's good to have you here. Assalamu alaikum first of all, and what are you saying, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, alhamdulillah. Just basically just anticipating my masters in product design.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. So yeah.
I know, right? It's good.
Yeah.
Designer. I mean, and you got some.
You're gonna have to talk to us about that, though.
Yeah, because
this is what the product is
I
basically about.
I anticipate that you're gonna do a lot of talking today. I'm not gonna lie. So I hope you got something to moisten your throat because you need to give us some of the tricks of the trade and some information today. First of all, should we just start with what we were saying? How we are?
We're good.
Huh? You good? Abdullah? You good?
Right.
Alhamdulillah. Sweet. Let's get into it. So, my first question for you, actually. So, you said, what did you say you were studying?
So, I'll be studying product design. So, you want me to elaborate in terms of what product design?
You're going to your undergrad first.
So what you're saying in terms of it being like DT, it's like I would say that DT is like the fundamentals of what you would end up doing in like product design. So in DT, like when you're doing it in like what, primary school, like secondary school pretty much, isn't it?
My secondary school didn't have DT, but anyway.
Okay.
Didn't have DT.
It didn't have DT.
What?
Wow.
No, we didn't have them type of subjects. we didn't even have IT.
Did you have at least art?
How is that possible?
We had art for 1 year.
No.
Wait, what?
You didn't have DT, you didn't have IT, and you had art for 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
See these man, they probably were still using them RM machines to get 10.
We had
RM.
graphics.
What's it called?
Graphics.
We had graphics, but we did that for a year. I think it was year 8 or 9, unless you picked it for GCSE. Actually, I don't think you could pick graphics.
But as in
you actually didn't have
the subject
IT.
you could do it in it. So like in year 7 to year 11, you could do design and technology. Like that's what I'm saying.
Not in my school, no. You could do graphics. I think the most you could do graphics. You could do art. Art was if you did one for 1 year and if you picked it.
Okay.
And then graphics, we did it for 1 year. And just mad. The graphics teacher.
No. So graphics would be like art.
The teacher that taught graphics.
What is graphics?
Was the
So
teacher.
graphics is more so
graphics
like if you're
is-
saying graphic design, is it like that?
Yeah, because we did stuff like making like designing brands, posters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's more so. Yeah. So that's more so graphic design when you're doing.
We didn't use computers for graphics.
What? Wait.
We didn't use computers. Now, do you know this? But first, my school.
Wait, how did you do the graphics? You have to explain this. How did you do this graphics?
Shout out all the stack, man. Yeah.
I went to school in South and I had cooking.
No, we did. We had food tech for 1 term.
Okay.
We had 1 term.
One term.
Yeah, we didn't have food tech
Food
at
tech is
all.
DT.
Yeah.
Huh?
You had he said 1 term.
DT.
Is it?
Not even the full year, a term.
I don't get it though. Why is it like
DT is
split up
DT
like that? In
is
terms of,
food
isn't there
tech.
like
Yes.
For me, it was food tech.
Food tech, like wood shop.
Product design, wood shop.
That's what DT
Wood
was.
shop,
yeah.
wood shop.
Yeah.
maybe not wood?
teach
Obviously, it might
devices.
change from like
Yes.
school to school in it. So like you might have like laser cutters where you have like, as in you have like.
Me, I never had a laser car.
You went to with Boris Johnson.
No. Because the school that I went to, the school that I even went to, it's not even that deep.
You know, like the pinball game.
Can you hear it?
So as in, yes, you have like a laser card, like it can cut out like certain shapes of like wood, plastic, that type of thing.
I feel like we did. I feel like we did.
I don't.
MDF plywood.
Yes.
No, we didn't. I feel like we used like the cutter thing. You know, like the shear cutter, whatever it's called.
So as in, you have
No,
like
not a saw.
the small one. It's like
No, you know, just the blade one. The one that you cut. The one that you cut A3 with. The one that you cut A3 with. What's it called?
Exacto knife. It's like it looks like a pencil, but it's got like a.
No. You know the slidey thing.
You're talking
Oh,
about
the
knife,
guillotine.
Yeah. That's
So you like you
as far
cut
as it
people
went.
like if you have like A3.
You're not. You can't give my school. You couldn't give man open blade. Like you couldn't give.
No, obviously no. Exacto blades and that type of thing.
I think.
like,
Oh, we
you might
did.
do that.
We did music though for free. We did music from year 7 to year 9 though. We did music. So like the thing about my school, yeah. Firstly, the money was the money wasn't.
I mean, obviously.
Okay.
And love to see like so we like our citizenship. The teacher that taught graphics for that term was the same teacher that taught citizenship, and
Wait, what?
citizenship.
And what?
You know your schools like got criminals when they have to teach you citizenship,
Same citizenship as well.
graphics, and our IT teacher left like a few months into year 7 and wasn't replaced. So the person that did teach IT for a bit was
That would have messed up a lot.
and that was just for 1 year. That taught was a French teacher, and she didn't know how to teach IT. You could tell. And secondly, for the rest of that year, it was like there was no. So we had IT, but there was no IT. Same with like my school, like it was bad. Like, let's say geography, yeah.
Okay.
From the middle of year 7 to the end of year 9, I remember we did like 2 geography lessons where we learned something. We did like the rain cycle, and then after that, so we had lessons, but lessons were just.
So is it just
chilling,
like
yeah.
the behavior in the class is just that?
So I think
was just a bit
IT
mad.
there was meant to be IT, but it just didn't materialize. But by the time we got to GCSE, you couldn't even pick it because there wasn't the facilities to do it. They had some we had some computers in the room, but that was it.
On the serious note, that's
That's actually bad.
Are you on the mic?
That's
mic?
actually bad.
So how many choices did you have?
Because stuff like this
you could pick.
stuff like this is very common.
Yeah.
Your
Like
option,
you hear this all the time.
Our
My
option-
sisters,
our
it happened to
options.
me. Electronics. The teacher got fired. He just disappeared because I think he was chatting to one of the girls.
wow.
Yeah. Stuff like this happened. And
Happens
then
on one of my drama teachers is in. I know she must be out of jail now. One of my drama teacher. Yeah. Anyway,
Jail.
drama teacher is a woman. She obviously it was boys' school, but yeah, she had a relationship. Like, yeah, a proper one, like an established relationship.
Come like Waterloo
That
Road,
is
fam.
Yeah, no, my school was
It happens.
yeah. So what could we pick? We could pick geography, history, which is I picked history, citizenship, French or Spanish, PE, and you could do double wood PE. So I did, or you could do triple wood PE. Sorry, so I did 2 PEs. Drama, art. I think that's about it. I think that's
Exactly, yeah. But that's the thing. What you were saying
it, that's
about
what you could pick.
art, like
That's it.
I would say that if you're talking about graphics in it,
And
that
RE.
would probably be
No, you had to do RE.
where the extension, like where it would connect in terms of you doing graphic design from art. Because that's like even in my school, like that was a thing that like it was a specialized subject kind of that you do graphic design. You would do like fine art, you would do art design or something like that.
The ability to do anything above and beyond the basics in our school wasn't there. Like. And it's mad because the school's rich now, but like it was because it was a Catholic school, so it was like there was no government funding or whatever. I don't know how it works. Huh? No, but you know there's different. There's where'd you go?
Thomas More.
I don't know about Thomas More, but there's some schools that are like church schools that are like kind of half and half. So the school's become like one of those half and half. So it's still a Catholic school, but it's state funded now. So that's where they got money. They got a new builder. But there's some schools that are just like they're just like the church. And
Do you know what the difference are between like public schools and like academy schools?
Academy schools are privately owned, aren't they?
Okay, because my secondary school, after my year group kind of left my secondary school for some reason, just fell off a cliff.
I think
they've now been taken over by an academy.
UK schools are generally Church of England. I think
Yeah, so
Yeah, so and then academy schools are completely like secular.
That would make sense.
So like there's no religious. But if you go to an traditional English school, it's gonna have Church of England. You'll probably have to study RS.
Catholic.
You probably have to do religious
They're not
studies.
really, are they, if they're teaching two
Yeah.
months and 2 months?
And the school will have like maybe there might be certain things that are exempt. So at my school we didn't do sex education, for example. We just didn't do it because I was Catholic. And then in a academy, there's probably less restrictions on what you can teach and all that type of stuff. I know there's less restrictions, but yeah. And obviously they have more money. They make money because yeah. So normally they're better in terms of the facilities and stuff. But then they're run like businesses. So the teachers probably it's harsher for the teachers and more pressure, targets, and blah blah blah. blah.
Interesting. This happens to my secondary school for some reason after.
At the end of the day, this
just
kind of
fell off
stuff, the only losers that come out of this are the kids. And if the teacher decides, then the teacher.
Because it also like it stops you from being exposed to like certain areas that if you knew, then you might have naturally had an interest in it, and then you would have taken it further.
Yeah.
So say like you were saying that you didn't really have art.
That's why I can't code.
facilities.
That's why I
Like
can't.
me,
use it, so.
we didn't really do electronics either, but it's
Not my
like
fault.
it's like
That's why I can't plug in Hoover.
For me, it was electronics, bro. The
Yeah.
same electronics teacher that I was talking about that got me. I used to love electronics, soldering, all of that stuff. He left, and then that class was a joke. That was a chill session. For this wasn't serious. And that kind of stuff is what, especially in state-funded schools, that's what happens every time there's a disruption. Whether it can even be just a change of teacher, and the teacher that left was good and the new one's bad. When that happens, whenever there's any kind of disruption, the biggest losers are the children, and it won't affect them short term. We're talking long term, because as you said, this could have been a skill that they could have picked up,
exactly.
but now
because like
they
you'll
would have
find-
never reached that potential.
You'll find that like people they have like if they're exposed to like maybe art or like design, that type of thing, then it's something that they'll be interested
passion
in.
for it,
So like say like if your school had like the facilities to do that art, then maybe the student might have found like, okay, this is really interesting, let me go further into it. Say like you were doing DT in like GCSE or something, like you do DT and then you might end up doing like I don't know, like you'll continue on. I don't know what the subjects are like now, but like you might end up doing like product design in like A-level or something like that, and then later on you end up doing product design in like uni.
Because I think you're finding that now with schools, the options for the kids are definitely opening up.
Yes,
every time.
yeah.
I always like to ask kids like what subjects you pick, because they have so many
it's
options.
new. Like
now
I'm hearing
compared
new
to what
stuff
we
now.
had. They've always got so many.
And
more
some of them
options.
A-level subjects they can do them like
Even GCSE.
economic. No, you know things like economics, politics, things that you think only are A-level.
Sorry.
But yeah, as we were saying, like, the biggest losers are the kids. How many? I know for a fact we all know of kids, multiple kids, not just one. We all know multiple kids that were in our classes that were troubled youths and bad youths. But you saw that when it came to a certain class, maybe they were playing around the other class, but when it came to one subject, they had the talent, they had the skill, they would knuckle down. And then stuff happens. What?
No, the bad breeds were bad in every lesson in my school.
No, but that's the thing. Like you might
maybe your school's
that's
different.
Did you find that maybe those guys they might have been interested in more in PE because maybe they like football in it.
No, they probably weren't allowed to do PE, but they were good. They were good at ball in it. They were good at ball. I know what you mean. Though. You know that stereotype. Oh yeah, you know the ones that are bad are the ones that are good at. In my school, it wasn't even like that. Still, they were bad and dumb. They were bad and they weren't good at. Like most of the ballers were smart. Was in the top set and that.
No, that's stereotype.
I know it's a stereotype. Yeah.
That stereotype's not true anyway.
Where was
we
we
were
anyway?
talking about product design, but before we actually wanted to talk about product design, I wanted to talk about what you did for undergrad.
Can we say what you did at under for context?
Okay.
Yeah, for context.
So, okay. for undergrad,
They don't know you in it. We know you, but they don't know you.
So I also done a degree in aerospace engineering as well.
Jeez.
So
Whatever that means.
yeah. So like you can like go into like product design and that type of thing from that, or you can go into say like you were doing DT or like product design beforehand, like maybe at A level or something, you could go into product design from that as well. So it's kind of like that. But in terms of the things that I'm somewhat more so interested in now, in terms of what I would actually make, it's like more so like the furniture side of stuff. So like making like
furniture.
Huh?
You've always kind of been into furniture.
I wouldn't say that though. Like,
What makes you say that he was always into furniture?
This isn't the first time you mentioned furniture to me.
obviously, yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You've been mentioning.
Yes,
furniture
yeah.
from back in the
Okay,
day.
yeah. It's been it's been
To
a
me
while.
at least,
Yeah.
so
It's been a while.
What is it? Because you like sitting down? Like, what?
It's not that. It's like I don't know. It's like I have things I feel like maybe that I could design myself and then put forward to the world that people might like in it. So.
Such as, let me get my
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Like furniture. So furniture, you would say.
You see me put that design into work. Yeah,
So like just like normal stuff like tables, chairs, lighting, that type of
like not with all due respect, how does somebody just decide that I want to start designing shit? Like what?
So it's like, I don't know. What do you mean by that?
As in, so you went from physics based type stuff.
But it's always, you can't really call it that, innit? Because there's always, with me, there's kind of always been that mix in terms of like, I've made like clothes, obviously I've had that mathematical physics, that type of background in it.
Sorry,
mathematic, like
no, you said it right. I just want you to say it again. Along mathematic.
that whole maths physics background in it. So it's kind of all of those things are kind of like intertwined. Like you'll find that maybe,
100.
like even in like stuff like architecture, like you'll find that they might have like a background in like traditionally you would say like they'll have like a background in physics, maths and art, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like it depends in it. You have some people that they might just be interested in fashion design and then that's what they do.
Yeah.
But then you have other people that they're like interested, like they want to design like loads of things. So like they want to design a table, they want to design a phone, they want to design a card, that type of things.
Product design. Yeah. Just because I'll be honest, I don't know much about product design myself.
Neither do I.
What would you say you could do as kind of like a career after you've done?
Okay, so what I was saying in terms of like product design being like the design of everything, that type of thing. So say like you wanted to design phones, obviously you could end up going to work for Apple. Product design is an avenue that you can go into to now design phones for Apple, that type of thing. So and then say like you wanted to do furniture, like you could do product design, like make furniture whilst you're like studying or whatever it is, and then you can go and work for like IKEA, let's say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's like it's very broad, and I feel like it's probably a good thing in terms of like these designers that don't necessarily have like a specified area of like study that they want to go into.
Okay.
And then they can like have a mix of like different things, like exposure to like different forms of design, and then start to like specialize in like different areas. But you do also get like companies that they'll like design studios where they'll design more different products in it. So they might design a phone, they might design like I don't know, like a jet ski, they might design that type of thing. So it's like
Yamaha,
you
for
do
example.
Okay, Yamaha might be an example. I don't really know.
So Yamaha, for
I know they do
example,
like bikes and
they
stuff
do
like
pianos,
that.
they do bikes,
Yeah.
they work on engine design, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So because obviously I know you want to talk a little bit about tech as well. Is that more of an interest or like a career path? You want
What?
to go
So
down?
product design?
Yeah, just like your
I think that's more
just
of a
like your
passion.
interest,
No.
interest in tech.
This
Is that just a separate?
so I wouldn't. The funny thing is, I wouldn't. When you say tech, like, what do you mean by tech? Because
you
like,
have an interest in tech. Right?
I wouldn't say that because I'm more. I think
This guy, he doesn't like to.
Fam,
He doesn't like to agree, and he doesn't like labels.
no. You know what it is.
So your name's Abdul Nasir. Abdul Nasir. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
No. But that's the thing. It's like if I asked you, if I asked you like, what's tech? What would you say tech is?
Technology. I don't
Gadgets.
So, no.
Gadgets.
know. Gadgets, but technology is not just.
But that's the thing. I'm not like
Electronics.
into. I'm not really into
Technology
designing
is-
phones. Like
technology
it's
is
not really something that I'm
innovation.
into, innit?
I would say
So,
gadgets.
yeah, I would say that. But that's not
Like devices, gadgets, and gizmos.
Because if you think about it,
because like you might, I don't know, like if if I think about technology, I might say that it's okay. This is like phones. This is like laptops. This is like that.
No, but that's electronics.
And that's see exactly.
What I would say technology is like, for example, you've heard of many medieval stories or whatever, or how, or for example,
I would say
when
more
we talk
that-
about numeracy and how the Arabs used to, they were the pioneers of technology, but they didn't have electronics and stuff at that time.
But I would say that
pyramids.
they would be more so like engineers. That's why I think
that
that's
engineering.
that's why I feel like the difference might be that it's not really what I'm talking about isn't really tech. This is more so like the designing of like physical forms and products and that.
Okay.
So that's why.
that's still innovation. That's still a form of
I
technology.
think you misunderstood him still.
Yeah,
I think you
that's what I
misunderstood.
meant. That's
I think what. So by tech, I would say something like. So if say that the things that you, like some of the links that you sent, So that let's say we had like a jet or not like a jetpack, hovercraft.
Yeah.
To me, that's tech.
That's what I would
To me,
describe.
anything that involves it.
So I would say
that,
I would probably say that that's more so like design and innovation, probably
Yeah,
something like
innovation.
that. Tech, but that's the thing. When
AKA
no, but that's not tech.
to the layman, to a normal person,
Okay, I don't know.
to Brian on the street.
I don't know.
Would you say?
To
would
me,
you
that's
say-
tech. Obviously,
would
but
you
you know
say-
me, I don't know anything. And we're back.
Back to kind of what I asked you. So the stuff that you sent us, that you want to talk about, so
Yeah.
like the kind of
Yeah.
let's say the
So,
futuristic
yes.
inventions.
So-
Is that more of an interest or like a career
So
path you wanna go
yes,
down?
in terms of what that area, it's more so like just I was kind of just gonna display like some of the like interesting things that were going on in like that design innovation area, like that type of thing. But even in those areas, you'll find that it's like a mix of like different areas. So you'll have like product designers, you'll have like engineers, you'll have
of
electronic
course.
engineers, that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, should we get into something? So, what's it called? You was going to talk a bit about the business side.
Yeah. So I was, I was just gonna like talk a bit about like the business of design and like how designers can like price their work, that type of thing. So, so I was like, obviously I've been like researching more so in like.
I've got a couple questions, by the way. So
Okay.
no, go
But-
for it.
Okay, yeah, but like I've been researching more so into like the like business aspects of design in terms of like how designers should be paid, like contracts, royalties. Like I'll explain to what these things
Patents
are.
as well, yeah.
Yeah, like patents, copyrights, that type of thing. So, like okay, I'll try and break it down kind of
Yeah.
so you guys can like understand it.
Because
So-
we are stupid, yeah. Don't worry, you can say it. it's
no,
fine.
no. But obviously, because it's kind of like specialized, like in terms of like it being about design. But yeah, it's so like ways in which designers can get paid in it is like they can. If we're talking about like freelance designers, like you can get paid in terms of like you doing like value break, like not okay. So you can get paid by doing like fixed pricing. So say like you wanted to do a client came to you and they said, okay, we wanna make this certain product or something like that. Like they'll give you a brief and then they'll say, okay, we want this in the product, we want this to
Okay.
be like this size, this shape, whatever it is. So you'll say like you'll like present like a price to them, like saying, okay, this is
Like a quote, basically.
yeah. So this is like this is how much we're gonna charge like
To make it.
to make the actual product in it.
Okay.
So you could say that there's a fixed price. So say like I wanted to make like a piece of furniture, let's say. That like the client wanted to make a piece of furniture. They would say, okay, this is the table or whatever we want to make. We want it to be this size, this shape, like or not, maybe not this shape, but like they want it to fit in like the room, like
Yeah.
be complementary to the room, whatever
Yeah.
it is. So then you'll say like, okay, this is our price in it, like in terms of like it'll be like a fixed price. So you'll say, okay, this is like it's like £10,000 or whatever for what we want to do in it. So that's like one form of pricing in it.
And just quickly on that, are they gonna is this the price that are you charging your price to design their vision, or are you charging, or are you telling them how much they need to pay, what the budget is, what budget is needed to make it, or is it a separate thing?
And this is funny, like if you listen to the podcast in it, that they kind of spoke about this, that it's like you don't want to base your price based on the cost of what you actually made it for.
Yes.
Because how are you going to make profit? How are you actually going to make money off the actual thing?
I think
so.
Go on.
So, like, you don't want it to be a case that you're basing the products that you make on the production costs. So the cost, like the cost of the materials, the cost of like the painting, whatever it is.
Yeah. Because something might be expensive and not require as much expertise, so you don't need to, but there is something might not be, they might not sell it for a lot, but a lot of expertise is needed to execute it, so you can charge more for it.
So
the other thing you have to think of in that scenario is promotions, no?
Yeah, so marketing is part of that. Oh, but that's like a separate area in it. So marketing would be like a different area. I'm more so specifically talking about
The
like
creation of the product.
you can kind of say that, but like the actual physical making of the
Can I ask
product,
another question, because I'm dumb? So the people that are coming to you, are they...
Does it make a noise?
Yeah, it'll make noise. So I'm gonna wait.
Does it make a noise?
No, sorry, go ahead.
The people that... Oh, let me just wait, because I'm going to edit it.
That was fine.
I'm going to edit this little cut. When you're ready, innit?
It's actually making noise, isn't it?
Is it not at all?
No.
Okay. The people that are coming to you, are they... So there's an inventor... Okay, an inventor and a product designer are different, right? Or,
No, so
or,
a
or
product
are they
designer
different but can be the same?
A product designer can be an inventor, yeah.
But are they often
Obviously,
two separate things?
when let's say like product design, we're talking about the professional product design. So like you're going into like a actual studio and you're working as a product designer professionally.
You're going to be the one who produces the final product.
No, as in like you work at a studio, like you work with clients, that type of thing. An inventor might just be someone that they just make stuff like they just make stuff by themselves in it, and then they just make stuff, that type of thing.
So if you was an inventor, so I don't want to get too much far from, we'll come back. So if I was an inventor and I invented some sort of I don't know, children's slide or something, I don't know. Okay, but I may not, and it's an idea in my head about how this is gonna, this new, but I may not have the expertise to actually and the knowledge of materials and all that. So I'll come to you. I'll come to you, and you'll produce that vision.
That's
cool.
That's what it is. But obviously, an inventor, you would assume that they would. Obviously, they don't have to. Like you could have an idea and then come to the product designer and then they make it for you.
But that's dumb. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Obviously, like you probably get overcharged. And
I think another thing that kind of comes into this kind of whole creation process is that I think it was kind of what you were going to touch on about not charging someone based on like the cost of materials and production of your time.
Yes. So so there's so we'll go into it. Like there's different styles of like different types of like ways you can price your work.
The way he's smiling, there must be big money in this.
No, it is.
The way he's smiling,
because I remember what this kind of reminded me of was I saw someone trying to sell a painting on Twitter one time, and the price was what people would consider as wild, and people were obviously going at this girl like, why are you charging this kind of price? And then obviously she was like, this isn't just about the finished product, it's about how long it took me to make this, because this could have taken me a week to make it. You're going to tell me I should only charge you £500 for something that took a week for me to make, so that's not proportional.
So we'll get into that as well. So funnily enough, it's
maybe
like
you're whack, that's why it took a week though.
No, but that's the thing. Like you don't. This is what they were talking about, innit?
There's a reason why you're interested in it. She put all that effort.
You assign value to whatever it is in it. So it's like, so what I was saying about fixed pricing, you'll say, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like we're gonna charge you this much. Now you were talking about like hourly based pricing in it, so or like time based pricing.
Yeah.
So you price your work based on the amount of time that you actually spent doing that work. The issue is, if you design a product that is more valuable than the time that you actually spent making it, then you lose money because you lose money because what's it called? You lose money
You're
because
short-selling
you could
underselling
have
yourself,
the value of the product, like the amount of money that you could have made off that product, like the amount of money that the client made out of the product, would be a lot more, way more than what you had actually spent the time on it. So you can't really assign value and time. Like you can't really you can't say that it's just the amount of time that I put in to do this and then value. Like that's how much it's cost. Like that's how much it costs in it. And that's like,
and you're underselling as well. Think of like,
because imagine you made a product that, okay, you made it in like 5 minutes, yeah, or whatever it is, and then obviously 5 minutes might be a bit like of an exaggeration, but say like you made a product and it was like
in a week,
in a week or say, let's say that, but then you did hourly based pricing, and you only got paid like maybe £1,000 in it, and then the client, the client that you gave the
is now selling it for 1,000 per unit.
It's not even that. Like you'll give it to the client, and then the client they'll like obviously market it, but present it as themselves in it, and then they make like millions. It could be like that.
And another thing, just on top of that, is that it might take you a week to do it, but the time it took for you to get to the point where you could do it in a week was
and obviously that's why you'll probably find that all the designers that they'll charge more, because they'll like the experience that they've gained, the skills, like the tightness of their sketching, the tightness of the sketching, like how well they can like make the product, like look how well the product functions, how well it looks, like that type of thing.
This kind of reminds me of, I was speaking the other week when we were talking about Bitcoin in regards to people being speculators. This kind of reminds me, what you're talking about, it kind of reminds me of, when we talk about cars, the AMG GT Black Series that just came out. Basically, it's a limited edition car.
Okay.
And basically, they priced the car at 300 grand.
Yeah, okay.
And people were like, raw, I think 350. People were like, raw, that's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. But what Mercedes have done is they've seen how the consumers have basically marked up their prices of used cars. So, like I said, Porsche GT3 RS, Porsche GT3, some of the other limited edition Ferraris. They've seen how people have bought them, got an allocation, bought them, put no mileage on, and then literally double the price on the used market. They've now seen it and said, okay, we're not going to be too focused on volume. We're going to just put the price high, so we'll make our money that other people would have made. And then whoever buys it, buys it. They're going to sell. It's desirable.
That's why trainers,
they know their product.
Same things happen with trainers as well.
Exactly.
That's why they get more expensive.
The reselling thing,
They're just driving up the price.
But what more so what I'm speaking about is like you making designs that they might have, like they're very valuable in terms of the amount of money that they can make in it. Because what I was saying, that say like you priced your work based on the amount of time that you spent on it. So I'm basically just going into what I was saying before, that if you did that, then you could be undercut in terms of the amount of money that you could have made in it. So say like, so you have that hourly based pricing, you have that fixed based pricing, you have like, so I'll talk about, maybe I might talk about royalties and that. So
are there any other different type of pricing structures?
Are you basically saying that kind of hourly based pricing?
No, I don't think that
yes,
ever.
it's not.
I think in the creative sphere,
it doesn't make sense.
In the creative more factors that come into it.
I think in the creative design sphere, I don't think that's ever an option.
Obviously, no.
Unless it's mechanized.
I've heard that you do have people that they do like they do hourly based pricing.
I wouldn't expect.
So but that's the thing.
I think it depends on the field that you're in, to be honest.
No, but in a design space, I don't like if you, because your skill is your ability to execute your designs that come from you. So to charge, so that's almost like the complete polar opposite to somebody who gets paid per hour because they're doing something that, with all respect, somebody, if you like, you know that thing, if I disappear tomorrow, someone can come and do the same thing and just repeat. So you're almost kind of like, you're on a, what's the word, like a production line type thing, production line type work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad.
So
are there other structures like so you got fixed rate?
So like you
Hourly,
say, okay,
yeah.
the client will say, okay, we want to make this type of thing, and then you'll say, okay, it's £1,000. Let's say like that. So then you could say you could do the hourly based pricing. What we were saying before, that you say, okay, I charge like £200 an hour or something, or £200 a week, or whatever it is that's what you charge in it. But then, like if you're doing like royalty based pricing, like so royalties
back end type.
So you're saying that it's based on the amount of volume that
You sell.
the product makes in it. So when you're talking about like the designs that have like higher intrinsic value than other like have a higher intrinsic value, then it's better that you do royalty based pricing, because you'll make the amount of money that is relative. Obviously you could if you do like another form of pricing that like you do it value based, like you like try and explain to the client that okay, this is of like this is very valued, like this is a very valuable.
So you have to sell your design to them. Basically.
When it's something's desirable, it's much easier to be. You're in a much better position to be able to negotiate and kind of put your product out there.
But the issue with that one, no, sorry, Karen.
But what I was gonna say is that with the like royalty based pricing, like so that problem that you would have in terms of like if you did an hourly rate, let's say that you said, okay, I'm gonna charge £200 to do this design for you, and then
like you said,
like if you do the royalty based pricing, then okay, it's based on like this is the units that you make. It's proportional to the units that you actually make. I would probably
imagine that a lot of companies wouldn't want to deal with someone that does that kind of pricing and royalty based pricing, because that means you're always paying that person.
The people that are guaranteed, those are the ones.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that's
just believing in your source. That's why you go to the
business, isn't it? Like
that's what I was gonna say.
That's
it's like probably that's why
you having the vision to see that okay, this is more valuable than this. So.
Yeah, of course I understand that, but I'm saying as a company. You might not want to go to someone like that because you don't want to have to keep on paying that person.
The company will always go where they get. The company will always try and get the best value.
Obviously, the money that they're going to make is still going to be a lot more than they're going to pay this person. But at the end of the day, companies' objective is to make.
But that's the thing.
That's why you have to be a good designer. But that's why you have to. When you're a good designer, they have to come to you.
It's the business. Like you have to be able to see that okay, this is your product is of a higher value than other products around. So. You look at it and say that okay,
it's a benefit for both sides.
Do you know? Not it's my issue. Not issue, but one thing with creatives that you find
that they don't focus on business.
It's not even that they don't focus on business. I guess that's a separate issue. But it's not really for me to say. But it's more that I feel like with designers or with people that are creative generally, they often have an issue, or you'll find that they sometimes have an issue with somebody with the disparities in their valuation of their product and somebody else's, and the issue with so I believe fundamentally generally that the market, that the value of something is always based on the market. However, if to when somebody has passion in a product or believes in something, it can be a slap in the face in it. So for example, if you're a product designer / inventor and you believe that you can price something at a certain point, and somebody just blatantly comes to you and tells you no, there's sometimes, you know, like for example, that person on Twitter that you mentioned, they might be offended by somebody saying, why would you pay that? Why?
But yeah, I think.
But if nobody's gonna pay it, big man, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but it's like with what Ibs was saying, I think like you would assume that more so with like the art side of stuff, which is not.
That's more of an art thing, I guess.
So it's like they obviously if you spend like 20 years trying to like make this painting,
who asked you? Who asked you? I get, but at the end of the day, but another thing is people for example, like on Twitter that will say, oh, like it's not, if you're not gonna buy it, keep your mouth shut and keep it moving in it. Because if somebody buys it, then if somebody's gonna pay it, then that's what it's worth.
That's the problem with social media, and it's just
so that you could make you could just come up with invent and create and design the maddest sofa. If everybody told you it's whack, as much as it took you 20 years, best thing in the world, you think my friend, it's worth nothing. That's why I don't know. Is that scary?
So what?
the idea that like your passion or things that you could do something and it just cannot be accepted as
because most
quality.
creators believe in their source.
Yeah, it's like it's
I mean,
something that
you can
should,
believe in your source. That's to an extent,
Yeah.
isn't it? You can believe
It's
in
something
your
that you
source.
should
You
do.
can believe in your source, but like
it's not. It
you
might
said,
not.
a
be
lot of
everybody
artists are
actually-
stuck in shelves though.
If everyone comes to
You
you
can
and says,
believe in
like,
your source and be confident that it's gonna do this.
But
That doesn't mean it's going to,
That
though.
doesn't mean it's going to though. Exactly. If the rest of the world says this is worth,
But obviously,
no one
like,
else.
How many
Sometimes
musicians,
sometimes you know.
how many rappers, how many
I'm not
artists?
thinking of musicians. I'm thinking.
But that's
like you
all
said,
art. That's
artists.
all art.
Yeah, it's all a form
I
of
guess,
yeah.
but I'm not thinking of that. And even when you talk, okay, let's say we're talking about musicians and whatnot. How many times do you hear people saying they've made a track or whatever and they know it's a banger, they know it's going to do work because they believe in that source.
And how many of them made it and we don't hear from them?
I'm sure everyone when they made their first track thinks it's going to be banged up. Sometimes it isn't. Most of the time it isn't. And then what?
You don't hear them. We don't hear them. What was you?
No, that's.
No, but most of the time, they've their confidence and their evaluation of their product is based on reaffirmation and reassurances from valuable. Unless they're deluded,
People lie to people though all the time.
they lie to people. But
People gas people.
There's if you, for example, a lot of these people that make it and then they say I knew I was gonna make it, blah blah blah. It comes from somewhere. They believe in their source. They believe in what they've done. They know it's gonna do well, but they've had reaffirming, valid voices. It's all right. All their friends saying, "Oh yeah, you're gonna make it. It's doing well." That can boost your ego, whatever, but it still leaves the doubts. What removes those doubts is proper people like music, A&Rs or whatever, proper like industry people.
can move
someone
you can move
like
the
that
music
coming
thing,
to you and saying, "No, this is."
But okay, let's move it to a better example here. So say something like which I know is
that's
not
what I was saying,
creative.
why music?
Let's say something like football, for example, yeah, and agents.
I don't watch football.
No, but like, I'm talking about if you're a young footballer. I know we're kind of moving on. Sorry, we'll come back. But like footballers, for example, yeah. How many people in school were told by the PE teacher?
Exactly.
How many best in
Who's
schools
the PE
actually make
teacher
it?
though?
Yeah, PE teacher. Yeah,
PE teacher's the next man. If a football agent is coming to you and saying, "I'll sign you. I believe in what you're doing,"
I'm talking about that.
We'll
as
see
well.
what you can do.
I was gonna get there. Same thing. Agents, coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best player I've seen.
many of them have
How
not
many?
made it?
How many of them don't
they
blow?
probably haven't made it because they didn't put all their heart into it and they didn't. But
Fam, there's yeah.
there are the ref. No, I'm being real.
So every footballer that didn't make it is because they didn't.
No,
have
I
the
know. I
heart.
didn't say every. I said most of them.
That is a
Listen.
wild generalization that you cannot make
Why?
because you can't. That is just such
There's
a wild.
there's so many
general-
factors.
There's so
There's so
many.
many
If
factors.
I was to
people
say,
might not
if
make
I was
it.
to say, I didn't say all of them. If I was to say, look at most of the people that didn't make it, and you ask them, is there anything you could have done better, or compare yourself to when you're.
But even the ones that
whatever.
did make it, a lot of them
I'm
could have done
sure.
stuff better though. Like everyone can always do stuff better, but that doesn't mean that that's the reason.
Listen, football, sports, all of this stuff. It's not just about talent.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it's about putting yourself in certain places. It's about I'm not gonna say luck because we're Muslims, but it's about different factors that maybe you could have put yourself in or done, as well as training hard or whatever to be in that position or to be seen or to be undeniable.
But
That's
look
what
at
I'm trying to say.
But look at like just as we say like the Qadr of Allah, yeah. Like how many people, as well as
the Qadr of Allah, if it wasn't meant to be,
imagine
it
all
won't
those
be.
people. Imagine all those people that say, "Yeah, I knew I was gonna make it. I knew I was." How many times do you also hear, it was that one situation. I was at this place at the right time." That means if your success hinges on the fact that you was at this place at the right time, then it shows that like
It's not always just.
it's not. Sometimes it's about
Sometimes
it's not
just
luck, but good fortune or favor from Allah or your destiny. So like I think. Imagine you like someone like because I can think of people I can think of people that have made it doing really well playing football or in some sort of entertainment field, creatives or whatever, and I can think of people that haven't, and there's not always it's not always this person worked harder than that person. There's so many factors.
It might be like the infrastructure around that person as well. So if they have like connections within the club or something like that, then
how did they get
someone's
those
parents,
connections?
maybe someone couldn't go training because they didn't have train
to
fair.
say like say like I don't know how it works, but say like you were like one of the coaches in Chelsea,
Yeah.
and like you had a son, like that you wanted
Nepotism.
You wanted to play,
Yeah, connection. Yeah.
but you wanted.
Catalytic nepotism.
I'm not saying I agree with this, but as in like say like you had a son that wanted to play football in it,
Yeah.
and then you have some like a guy in like I don't know. Like just somewhere else, like they're not really well established. Like there's no like connections in terms of like connections might not be really readily available, or they don't really like understand that type of thing. Then it's like who's more likely to be the one that actually ends up becoming
in that situation, what could you do to make sure?
But that's the
got access
educating
to those
yourself. Yeah,
connections?
exactly.
Or how could you maybe talk to your father to make sure he can make those connections or introduce him?
It's not.
It's not that easy.
It's not always that easy. It's not always.
There's always something. I get what you mean in that. There's always something more you can do.
There's something that you can do, but it's not that easy. When Rooney's
sometimes it's not meant to be.
Signed a contract with Manchester United. Do you think that his son could have signed it? Do you think that anybody's son could have signed a contract with Manchester United just by being as good as him? It's not always that easy, but he's in the place because of his dad.
No. That's another thing we're not gonna do. You can't just say someone's someone's in a certain position because of who they're.
Oh, 100% you can. Yes, you can.
No.
Yes, you can.
You can't.
I can't say that his son is in a better position to get a contract
Just
than
because
my
his
son
dad-
because of his dad.
No, he's in a better position. Yes,
Exactly.
But
That's the point I'm making.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But what you're saying is there's worse ballers than Rooney's son that aren't in the same position because
100%.
Worse-
yeah,
100%.
which is what
He's
you're
in a
saying.
good position. No, I thought you were saying he's only in that position because of his dad.
Part of the reason. I
You can't.
No,
you can't
but
say that.
I need sitcom.
because it's meant to be on. It's in theory it's on merit, isn't it?
There's
So
a
it's
Formula
on-
One driver called Damon Hill. His dad, Graham Hill, was a Formula One racing driver, earned millions, and he had to do delivery work as a career.
But that's a completely separate example.
No, it's a similar example.
It's a similar,
It's
but
the exact same.
but the story
example.
behind
They're both sportsmen. They both.
No, but him saying Wayne Rooney's
If
son.
anything, Formula Ones are more.
Yeah, but him
saying
saying Wayne Rooney's son doesn't mean that everybody's son is gonna do it. But he's using that specific example and saying that Wayne Rooney's son.
Yeah, but I was talking about someone who had to. Anyway, we've gone off. But I was saying someone whose son's success is attributed solely to his father. That's what I was saying.
What he's talking about is up until this point. He's not saying in his life. He's saying that the reason he's in Man United. I'm not saying he's probably good at football. Wayne Rooney's son. He's probably capable. Like as in, yeah. But like, yeah, of course, like. And there's not an issue. I don't have an issue with people being in certain situations. Yeah, it's not. It's what, isn't it? But like to say that everything is always proportional. That's like that means black people have to work harder than others. That means you're basically saying that doesn't exist.
I didn't say. I said majority. I didn't say it all.
Okay, so do you think black people have to work harder?
Yes, we do.
In general.
Yes,
Okay, I'll leave it there.
that's facts. Well, okay, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
That's what
I
believe is
agree.
facts.
I agree. That's the point I was making. Hoverboards.
Yeah. It's like that. So yeah, no, so I was,
So like, yeah. So obviously, what's going on in the world of tech? But that's not tech because we're not allowed to say tech because that's too basic.
You can't say tech,
That's too
but
basic.
As in, it's more so like design and innovation in it. So yeah, it's just like new, like interesting things that are kind of happening in tech right now. So like the creation of like Hovercrafts. So like obviously there's, I don't know like how interested in or how much you know about like in terms of like personal, like single, like personal manned flight. So it's like you have a person, like there's a person like they have some form of like
wingsuits.
Yes, okay, no, not wingsuits because that's not, you wouldn't really call that flying in
That's
it.
jumping off a mountain. That's gliding. Innit?
No, that would be considered gliding in it.
That's gliding.
So, but in terms of like what the hoverboard.
Technically, since you're an engineer, you could find hot air. I say hot air. Hot air. You could find hot air and then go around in circles and then go back up. No.
Yeah. No, it's like I would
exactly.
You would more so consider flight to be more so like you have a propulsion system that you can
you can
actually power yourself through the air, isn't it? So which is where
So
in
they have
single.
hovercrafts that can actually.
So this is
I'm not
what-
talking about the water ones. I'm talking about.
So in terms of the wingsuits that you're talking about is in like you have
Jump
like,
off a mountain and
like
you're-
jump off a mountain. You have like
I was
that
being
spread
extra.
in
I
it.
was being
Yeah,
extra, yeah.
but as
We
in,
know.
But yeah, so it was just like hovercrafts and like single manned like flight systems in it. So yeah, the hovercraft was like if you can like pull up a video in it or something.
Yeah.
We'll link it.
Yeah.
As,
Yeah, well, of course we'll link it. But,
them fans go.
Yes, so basically, yeah. So you have like in that example that like is being presented, I think it's like you have like 8 motors that you have like eight motors on the like the hovercraft like the platform that you're standing on, and then you have the propellers that are attached to those motors in it.
sick.
So that it's quite like it's obviously it's something like quite new. That's like a new video of.
That's it. You can leave it like this one.
Okay. Do like you're not showing the right video in it, because the other video like explains.
Oh,
Like,
that's part of the same video.
no, the video that is sent in it, that's not the same video.
Hold on. Yeah, send me the video. There's like 15 links
Did
on
that?
there.
Oh,
is it the one I just clicked on? Yeah.
yes, yeah, that's the one.
Send it to you.
Carry on talking. Yeah. Or should we just wait for it?
Yeah, that's.
I don't think it needs to be on the screen. I think you can just kind of talk through it and then they can watch it.
Industrial section of Montreal.
Do we have to listen to the talking?
Find Alexandru
You have to listen to it.
Maybe just a little bit, but
Shall I just skip to the.
so yeah, so basically yeah, so this video is quite old in terms of like the actual production. Like this is like kind of like the earlier stages of what the hovercraft used to look like. So this was like one of the first inventors, first inventor of that style of hovercraft, where you have like an 8 rotor system. So imagine like you have like a quadcopter. You know what that is, yeah. That you have what? So you don't know. Okay.
I said yeah. And then my nose go longer.
But yeah, so you have like a helicopter. Let's say helicopter, because that's a bit easier to explain. So
Have you seen Michael Dapper's video on the gyrocopter where he's on that thing? Okay.
so let's explain it for a
I was trying to
helicopter.
explain it, but
Yeah, go on.
Explain it for a helicopter in it. So you have like it's that same type of system where you have like a motor and a propeller. So you have the motor spinning, and then that causes the
Downforce or
that
force or
that
whatever
causes
it's called,
the helicopter to
Yeah.
take off in it. So so that's like that style of like flight system that's similar to this one. So you have that motor system, but it's like upside down,
pushing air downwards, basically.
no, it was still that thing. I don't think I can really explain that, but you have. Sorry,
I just do biology. No biology is the dumb science. It's the science for the dumb people.
but yeah. So basically, I'm just explaining like the system in it. So you have the 8 motors, the propellers. You have like the platform that he's standing on, and then he has like a few like wire guards, like wires around the actual the platform itself. So, and then you have like those motors spinning the actual that causes it to fly. Okay, let's put it that way. So that's like one of the, and this is like something that people have been quite interested in for a long time in terms of like this whole thing of like hoverboards, that type of thing.
You see the thing with this here, what this kind of makes me think is like, what's the end goal of all of this? 'Cause
So,
it's not
like-
this isn't going to be on for sale for the net forever.
No, so
It's
yes,
gonna be
so
grabbed
but obviously that whole thing that will take like the whole like development process of
Bagel can be
trying.
nuts. So.
That's yeah.
The schooners are jarring enough.
That's also like looking at the development process and trying to look at the engineering or like the cost of the products in it, like the cost of the components or of the cost of the components of the design itself, so that you can bring the price down. So like if everyone wanted to use it, then they could use it in it. But I see like this might be a case where it's more like like a general thing that you just
like an experience you can do.
Like
You can probably do that already, can't you?
no, but as in it's more so like you can just use it like recreationally.
Do you know,
So like
every time I think of this kind of like experimental stuff, I always just think that this is something that they'll eventually just weaponize and give to the army. That's
no,
always
but
what I think.
but obviously
I don't know
in
why.
that case,
Yeah.
it's like I don't think it's more so like that's not the intention.
you sure?
I don't think so.
You sound
believe that
naive. You
this
sound
is
bare
why-
naive though.
You believe that this is
Are you
primarily
sure?
to bring
No,
to
but I think
mass-produced
I think
market?
I think a lot of
This is
things
more so-
that are
This one specifically.
I mean, first they'll have to make it out.
Wait, dude.
Like you saw that when they
No,
put sellotape and
when MI6 just pull up at the factory.
No, but obviously no. But this is like this is what I'm
when the
saying.
queen
That
just pulls up,
this
this
video-
we're having that.
That's a prototype. Yes.
this video, yeah,
That's
this
out
is like
now.
a prototype, yeah. So we're in the later videos, yeah, we'll go into like the more updated versions.
Do you
of the
believe?
thing
Yeah. Do you
itself.
believe? Yeah. Because I have this belief that when it comes to technology or innovation in terms of products or things, like someone probably in the CIA or something could already make that.
It's
properly?
obviously like
Maybe not cheap, but they can already do it.
They might have had like the engineering capabilities to do
Yeah,
it, but it's
that's what I
like
was gonna
it's
say.
like
And they
You're
hold
forgetting
back.
that a
it's
lot
not
of these-
necessarily
a lot of
something
these-
that they want to do.
They don't care.
You're forgetting that a lot of stuff is developed for the mass market by the army. Like it's
Yeah.
tested. It's,
Yeah.
Like prototypes are sent there and developed there. Look at all these, even stuff like phone cases. A lot of this stuff was birthed out of being invented and then tested.
So what I more kind of mean is that like things that are being sold as new and innovative. Let's say like our new iPhone 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
They probably could have released that same iPhone 15 years ago.
But obviously,
But they just held back. They
they
just
might have
held
had the engineering capabilities to do it, but it's like they might be focusing on the design. Let's say they want to
I
focus
think they
on
just drip
like,
feed.
There
I
might-
think
there
they
might
just
have been a
drip
lot
feed.
of
obviously,
They
yeah,
just
there
drip
might be that whole thing about marketing in terms of like you building hype for the product itself. But it's like, yeah, it might be a case that they want to really nail down the design in terms of what it looks
I
like.
don't think that's what it is.
I think
It
I
might
no,
be
no,
part of it,
actually,
but
I
I think that's part of it in terms of
think
from
that
a
would be part of it,
Yeah, part of it.
Ultimately, it will be for money. And
It's not always money.
What?
It's not always money. Sometimes
I wouldn't be
there
surprised.
are general bottlenecks. Like they might be able to use a faster processor, whatever, but they might not have anything that may be able to use the full capabilities of that processor.
I think it depends on
But
what
they
kind
might
of,
not.
I think it maybe depends on what kind of products we're talking about.
Yeah, because it
I
depends
would
on.
say in terms of like
Okay,
phones
if we're talking about
and stuff like
electronics,
that, I would say 100% is because of money.
When it comes to design electronics, you know that
Yeah.
there's a lot of bottlenecks that come up. You might be able to get there,
Yeah.
but you can't find anything here. That
And
can
that's
make use
why
of
these flight systems are quite relatively new because like you have to invent these things. Like you have to come up with these designs to say, okay,
come up with new
this
concepts.
is how it's gonna work in it, and then
When you say
actually
that,
do that,
do you know
and
how
then
you say-
do it like actually make it work in it.
So
So
see how-
that's it's not just a case where okay we have the parts,
So-
let's make it fly. Like
See how that
it's not
in
simple.
that early that in that video, the first one we saw, it was like essentially like some guy in his shed essentially. Not it was guy in the shed, yeah, cool kind of thing. But like I kind of think that like if you had given that same brief. So what we're saying, we need to come up with. If you given that same brief to
But is-
the MI5 and say gave 3 people and you could that they could have just done it.
Yeah, but it's like
30
it's
years
like
ago. But they just don't care to
Not
for
really,
now
yeah.
because it's not
Not
it's
really.
not.
But that's the thing, like this is more so focused on the recreational side of stuff.
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
that,
Which does-
that it's just like people just wanting to make interesting things in it. It's like it's not a case where you're trying to do like.
What do you think?
military
What do you
stuff and
think
all of that.
the maddest thing?
No, obviously not.
Yeah, not
them.
Yeah.
Wanting military capabilities in their products. I'm saying military will go to them and ask them how they work, how we can weaponize. Yeah, I'm not saying,
I don't know.
I'm not saying they want to.
What do you mean like
the
drones?
newest-
Like the way they do with drones, basically.
I don't know, I
Like
guess
the
so.
weaponized drones.
I guess so.
What do you think? In like 100 years, this is kind of going off topic, but like in like 100 years, yeah, what do you think will be everyday that an everyday thing that to us now is just like a madness?
I don't know. Because like if you like just looking at technologies in it, if you look at like the phone, like in terms of its like evolution and like
It's madness.
it's you look at how it was like a proper like brick in it. Like you have like the numbers on the phone in it, the antenna, all of that stuff. But look at what your phone can do now in it.
Yeah, I remember when someone one of the other brothers that I was talking to was saying something like this as well, about how he was listening to a podcast, and I think on a podcast they were saying like in a lot of the movies in like the early 2000s, they always
envisioned
their depiction of the future was always that computers would get bigger and stuff, not that computers would now be able to fit in your pocket. So yeah,
like, cause have you like, you know, like, let's say if you had brought an iPhone 500 years ago, like you took it back in time, they would call you a witch and a wizard. They would actually say it's magic. But all of the things to do it are on the world. Are in the, like, as in everything that we've needed to do to build this podcast recording machine, whatever, was on the planet 2,000 years ago. But they didn't do it. Yeah, it was in Congo. But they didn't do it. So that's so what I basically mean is that is like, see how things that we say are like, so if I said I can just click my fingers and disappear, you'll say I'm a witch. You'll say it's magic, innit?
But in 100 years,
however, that might be a thing.
Yeah, but that's like science and innovation. And obviously, I'm not saying that you'll be able to like click your fingers.
And this is not me saying magic is a real, because sihr and magic is a real thing, and it's a sin. And don't do magic, babalawo and them and there. That's magic. But in terms of things that you might perceive as magic, imagine I could just do it.
I don't think that would ever happen. Because at the end of the day, we still got
that's
physics.
Probably
Physics has been the same physics that we've been teaching for thousands.
But that's
of years.
probably less shocking. That's probably less shocking. So if we went back in time, and one person went and disappeared, and then I pulled out an iPhone and showed them, the iPhone might even be more shocking than somebody doing this and disappearing for. The iPhone might even be the one that makes them go, yeah.
No way you'll be able to do this and see if you turn into a gin.
If you do this and disappear, they might go, oh, that's a man. Oh, well done. Babala can do that one in the mountain as well. But then if you show them the phone, they'll run away from. Stop playing. Oh, God,
if you got the ability to do this, then you got the ability to create humans, and that's never going to happen. They've always tried making robots and stuff to. Basically, they've always tried making something similar to a human, and look how perfect we are as humans. Not perfect, but look how Allah has created us. No one can ever create us. No one can ever create a human. No one can ever create an animal, let alone a human. So, but anyway,
what was there anything else? Oh, yeah, so using them recreationally.
Yes, more so like looking at the more recreational side of things in terms of like I don't know, like how you have like an electric skateboard, let's say, or an electric scooter, like it's just something that you have in it that you can use for like personal.
If you fall off that, you don't fall.
But yes, obviously that like if you're looking at like the capabilities of the actual product itself, then you want it to be a case where like you probably want it to be a case that you don't want the user to be flying 100 meters in the air, whatever it is.
I guess if that was the case, then there would always
there'll be signs, infrastructure to stop.
Have to be indoor, like one of them centers, like a bit like how they have those skydiving centers.
Or just
but that makes it rubbish though.
Going back to personal flight, I do think that if we're talking the next 100 years, I do feel like you'd be able to, like the way we have our own car, we can just say I want to go to Manchester. I do feel like we have our own personal, private, like mini planes or whatever. Like you can just say, okay,
you just get up and fly to.
Not a jetpack, like, but I'm more like, man, Spain. You can drive to Spain, like enclosed, private, like, plane. Like you can just say I want to go to Nigeria, and just hours later you're there. Maybe not even hours, maybe minutes. Who knows?
Maybe you can click your fingers and appear there.
Hey boy, that's when anyway.
And you know what? Talking of
jet back to Nigeria,
you know we've actually
you have to go over Somalia,
you know we've actually gone a step back.
Look at me.
Do you remember Concorde?
Yeah.
I was always fascinated by
Concorde.
Concorde,
the like supersonic flight.
It was sound barrier faster than sound, isn't it?
But it's like with those things, I don't know what the story was behind it, but they kind of like they suspended in it the whole project.
They suspended it.
Safety
I think
issues.
it was due to safety issues, fueling.
They were expensive.
I think some planes
to use.
They would have blowouts where maybe it's a window or door or something where the plane will literally go so fast that it would disintegrate.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. Or stuff like landing them was an issue. I nerd about this stuff.
Yeah, but this,
I
this
was
is kind of.
I watched a lot of
On the plane,
documentaries
that
about.
can't be safe.
You could go from London to New York in a quicker time than it would
Yeah.
take you to, let's say,
It was like an hour and a half or something. It was something mad.
I think sometimes even less than that.
Yeah, it was mad.
And today's flight time, today,
6 hours to
2021,
New York.
we're talking ridiculous. But anyway,
Obviously, like, yeah, it might just. Be
I think it wasn't worth it. The risks weren't
the
worth
risks
the reward.
combined to, and they were expensive. That's the I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest nail in the coffin because people, as long as money's involved,
I think to fly on it, you only
they don't care about safety.
like a
But
normal flight on the Concorde was like it's just business class levels, like probably and
course.
more
Yeah.
like yeah.
Concorde was for
It was
affluent
for affluent people. Yeah, it was a bit like
people. I wish I could go on Concorde today, man. But anyway,
After what you said, the disintegrates in the sky. You want to
I
go in
don't
it?
care, man.
Well done. This guy will be on the hoverboard with no helmet. You see my old Ken Road on top of the mosque.
Nah, I'm not. Did you see that thing? It was literally taped together.
Yeah,
But
how do
yes,
you,
okay, so that video that you were watching in it, that's like the initial stages of the hovercraft itself in it. So there's another one of the other videos that
I think it's the one
wanted to
that
pull
is it
up.
the one he showed first.
So no, it's not even that. So
You
there's
probably
another
know
one
this.
as
What
well.
materials was it made out of?
So that was, I'm not too sure.
'Cause it has to
it might
be
have been
like- it
like
has to be
carbon
Canadian-
fiber.
Canadian-
Carbon fiber,
yeah.
Canadian
titanium.
develops
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
I'd
so there's
imagine
another
carbon
one.
fiber, titanium, aluminium, those kind of.
Light sturdy,
light, yeah,
sturdy
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is.
Oh, the internet's shocking for me. But, anyway,
But yes,
just
so
talk
yeah,
for it.
so that was I don't know how long ago that was. Maybe that was like 5 years ago, something like that.
That
so
they made the first,
Yeah, so that was like the prototypes of that. So there's been like another inventor that has made the same like flight system where you have the rotor multi rotor system multi rotor system that you have like the propellers like spinning and then all that. So that's done that, but it's a lot clean. Like the design is a lot cleaner. It's a lot more polished. So it's not all that taped up. Okay, it's not like taped up just prototyping that type of thing. So it's a lot more.
I think that still scares me about that is.
But yes, flying from heights, that type of thing. Like
No, I don't care about that. For me, it's the sensors.
What Parkinson's is?
No, just because in order to stabilize and stuff, that is going to need to rely on a lot of sensors. Sensors, artificial intelligence. Because a human's not capable of every minute monitoring what angle it's at and all this stuff. It's gonna need to sort that out itself.
Some green
And
goblin
you're
thing.
huh?
Some hobgoblin thing. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Green Goblin. Don't worry.
What's that?
Don't worry. Ibs got it.
Goblin.
Might have to cut that out. The joke.
You know what?
There's like the
He rides a hoverboard, didn't it?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a character.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what are you gonna say, bro?
But yeah, so yeah, there's this the new hovercraft that I wanted you to like see it in it.
I saw it. I saw it anyway.
So yeah, so
What
there's
is it?
been like
Still
a
available.
newer version of the
The one
actual
is the one
hovercraft.
that is still with the hand.
Yes,
The one with the
yes,
hand,
it's the-
yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
What? So it's like a hoverboard scooter.
so it's the
No,
it's the
no,
same.
no.
It's like kind of the same design in terms of the style of flight system that they're using, like that multi-rotor system. But obviously, it's a lot more polished. It's like like carbon fiber. Like no, that's another
different
one.
one.
Yeah. So that's
oh, you
that's
mean
more
there's
so-
like a hand trigger? There's
yeah.
like a
So
hand
yes,
throttle.
you have like a RC
remote, yeah.
remote control that you can press and then you can turn it and then that's how
Still,
you can
the same way I
control
see those
the-
things the same way I see driverless cars. People
Yeah.
are saying driverless cars are the future, blah blah blah. But how many stories do you hear of these driverless Uber cars killing people?
What I'm saying is there's a reason he was using this in the desert.
Yeah. No, but obviously
When the
yes,
ground is
this
soft.
is
Exactly.
But yes,
Exactly.
we're looking at
When the
this.
ground is
Looking
soft.
at this is the
I hope he's wearing helmet and good.
the early stages of this.
I'm sure his mum don't
Obviously,
know
it's
he's
very
there.
it's quite expensive now, but you want to like look at
Everything
the
starts off
engineering.
expensive.
Yes,
I mean, look at the
like
first iPhones. Look at the
planes,
first
flight travels, like
VR
traveling,
headsets.
yeah,
First plane, like you said.
Yeah.
all that stuff. First, everything's usually
yeah,
expensive.
yeah. And then like it'll come down, isn't it? So yeah. So that was one of the flight systems, like the multi-rotor system that is like the hoverboard. Let's say like the hovercraft type of system that I've been looking at. So then there's the other style system that is like a jet suit powered jet suit, let's say. So what Ibs was saying about you have like micro gas turbines, which is basically like the small engines in it. So like you can they create the force that's required for you to like lift up in the ground, and then you can control like your movement, all of that stuff. So yeah, it's the similar thinking, like that type of thing. So that you have like an engine, the micro gas turbine engine at the back, and then you have the engines at the front, like 2 engines on the front. So one there, and then another on the two on each arm.
They kind of look
and
like,
then
I know
you can like control like the direction of how you're moving through doing that. So it's called like thrust vectoring. So like basically like the way in which the orientation.
Basically, you just break one side, the other side is loose, and that turns it. So, for example, if you wanted to turn left, you break the right side. If you want to turn right, so you break the left side.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of how it goes.
Okay. I didn't know that, but yeah, that's something that new I learned in it. But yeah, so
I was just saying it's the same thing. But
No, I'm enjoying myself. I'm learning, man. I'm learning.
But yeah, so
I'm enjoying myself.
I know you are. I can tell.
So you have like that flight system. So what that one's like more so focused on like the like gas, let's say like the like diesel jet fuel type of system that's how it's like powered, let's say. So like like you have a car that's like powered through like it's made out like you put petrol in your car, let's say that that uses like a jet fuel
kerosene
fuel. So
it's funny, the first time I had a kerosene was when I went to Nigeria for some reason.
Same. Kerosene.
Although I know that's what literally, I think kerosene is basically the number 1 aviation fuel.
Okay.
All right. I
No, I'm not.
Do you know what it is? It like
kerosene? That it's like a fuel in it. Like you use it in like cooking and that.
I think it's
not inside the cooking, but
in Nigeria.
what is that? The barbecue one?
Yeah. I think it is.
Cool. In the interest of time, is there any final word? Oh, actually, no. Are you? So would you go on one? I know what Dula's gonna say.
It's like
No.
That thing that's taped together.
No, not
Listen,
yeah,
I've value
not
in my
talking
life.
about that, but yeah.
No, but the patterned one you were going to.
The pattern one, yeah. But the pattern one, I
Will
think.
you wear a helmet?
I think when they will need to make
Imagine.
it faster, because you know what it is. See, what?
He'll even be drifting on the air somehow. They need to make it faster.
See,
Yeah, go on, carry on.
I
They need to make it faster. You were saying.
was gonna say something. I can't remember. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say what like Ibs would you go
I was
on?
gonna say something about the
one now.
Yeah.
Nah, man. For me, it's wingsuit in it.
Tell your mum.
But that's the thing. I would say that the wingsuit's more dangerous, way more dangerous in terms of
It
like
is if
you
you
jumping
fly-
off
if
like
you-
from a
it is
cliff or
if you
something.
fly-
and
You buckle on a cliff.
yeah.
And
If you buckle on a cliff, it's fatal. If you with wingsuiting, if you put your head down, and because if you put your head down, you literally go. And these guys, they're mad. They're very mad. They go across.
Yeah,
mountains.
I
They
don't
go
know
in
why
between
they
mountains.
do all of that stuff where they're so like
It's precision, isn't
they're
it?
no, it's like
That's
they're-
not skill,
it's
that's
daredevil
people.
stuff.
I'm not on it.
Nah, it's
I'm not
there
on
like
it.
it's
Yeah,
daredevil
it's
stuff,
just-
like-
It's skill.
Yeah, it's good enough to do till you die. Go head first into the ground.
Nah.
You know what it-
It's right. It's skill.
Okay, you see how many RIP this, the RIP that when you see them doing their mad videos.
They're not good enough.
How many of their friends they lost?
Got skill.
Yeah, they're not good enough until they're
Some
good enough until they're not good
man
enough.
will say driving 100 miles an hour through a cornfield. Some man will say that, anyway.
But this is the thing, like
Is it?
It's on a rally.
There's no traffic in the
It's on a
sky
rally
either.
stage.
with what I was saying that with the jet powered the jet suit with the Gravity Industries Richard Browning, that he has specifically said, and it's more like it's likely that you'll be say like, because I think he's spoken about doing like pilot like jet suit racing kind of. So
Jet
you-
what racing?
Like jet suit racing. So basically,
Oh, wow,
his flight mechanism, like that whole thrust vector.
Are you talking about? I think I've seen them, like the Red Bull.
No,
guys.
there's that one. That's the jet, like
The RAF
yeah.
guys. That.
No, it's not RAF, but yeah, I know you're talking about. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Is that what
they
you're
have
talking
they have like powered wings, and then they can propel through.
They've
the-
got a jet on both sides, and there's like a carbon fiber wing.
Yeah, they have like a wing, and then they have like the micro gas turbines that I was talking about before. So,
Is that what you're talking about?
No, so I was talking about the other one that I'd sent. That you have the
Propellers.
no, you have you seen it, isn't it? So yeah, that you have the gas turbines, the two, the jet powered suit in it. If you would, I don't know if you watched the video in it, but I guess you haven't. But yeah, so yeah,
You didn't do it on
if you do that, like that form of flight, that jet suit powered jet suit, you would have like you do it like above water, so you have like say like buoyant like
It's not something that's
so
making
you know
float.
like there's those like games, like car games in it, that they have like the checkered flag at the start, like you have like that what's it called, I don't know what it's called in it, but it's like a region that the car goes through before it, like at the start of the race in it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like to give you a kickstart type thing.
No. It's just like it's like a
Just like the start point.
yeah. It's like the start point of the race in it. So, but it's like an area that you can go through in it. So that's how like the actual, I don't know what it's called, but you will have like
What's the purpose of it?
so those are the areas in which you would actually go through the race in it, because like you could still do it in terms of like you having like a track around on the ocean, and then
water
you can just go around
Oh,
it.
I know what you're talking about. You mean like points? You mean like
yes,
checkpoints?
like
Like
checkpoints. Yeah,
A bit
okay,
like you know like how
yes.
you know like sailing, how they do their races. It's like about going through.
Yeah, so you go through that area, and then that's how that's how the track. That's how
Like kayaking races, like when they do kayaking and they have to go between the two
Don't you have
flags.
to be airborne to do this?
So yes, it's
Isn't
based.
that the main issue?
Water, yeah.
No, so
Eventually,
obviously
they're gonna get to the point where they can do, like,
no,
you know
but that's the thing itself, in it. That what I was saying is that when you're doing that, you wouldn't be flying at a very high altitude. You're doing that at low altitude, so that if you like fall into the water, then if you fall in it, you fall into water, and then the impact
still
isn't
survive.
exactly the impact isn't that serious, which is what makes it safer, I guess. Yeah.
Airborne
But
stuff
obviously,
that is
yeah.
fast and that you can't control. That's different kind of fish, man.
But it's enjoying. Yeah, I enjoy that stuff.
We know. That was different. Definitely, my head's hurting. But that's good. That's good. Before we wrap up, because as we all promise, our little reminder section, which I'll get into. I actually wasn't gonna do. I was gonna do something else, which I obviously won't say because I'll save it for later. But I've had 2 people actually ask me in the last week about Zakat randomly. I don't know why. So I thought I'd just dust off like some bits I wrote on it a while ago. Well, not a while ago, a few weeks ago actually. In terms of Zakat. So first of all, Zakat, for some reason, I'd say probably we can all agree it's probably something which is an what's the word? It's not really spoke about that much in terms of being up there with obligations upon the Muslims. And I'd say there's probably and this is something I was guilty of previously, and maybe still to this day, it's not something that is known about as much in terms of the obligations surrounding it, the exactly what you have to do, what makes you eligible, what doesn't make you eligible, what things you have to pay zakat on, all that type of stuff. I don't think it's something that's really, when you compare it to like fasting, Psalm and Salah, compared to them, I'd say it's probably not up there, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably same maybe with Hajj as well. Maybe it's one of those things that maybe it's because of our age. I don't know if that it's not seen as something that's as relevant to younger people, along with Hajj as well, maybe. So obviously everybody knows fasting.
Because young people living in London are broke.
maybe because we're all just poor. I don't know. But zakat is up there with the biggest of obligations upon us as Muslims. And one thing that kind of emphasizes that is the fact that how often you see it mentioned, like in, there's tons of surahs, like Surah Nur, verse, what's this, 56, like which is basically establish the command, which always comes, it's in the Quran so many times, I don't know how many, but established salah and established zakat, they're always kind of mentioned alongside each other, which shows the fact that it's mentioned alongside zakat so frequently shows the importance of it. So let me just quickly do a little bit about some of the obligations of zakat, and hopefully, inshallah, I'll just provide a bit of a backbone for people to go and study more. And it comes to the kind of laws surrounding it. It's easy to find. You'll find it anywhere. This was taken, in terms of my notes, were taken from a lesson by a local teacher, Ustad Khalid Hassan. And I got this from Medina College, but I'll just go through it. So in terms of what zakat is, in the English translation, it essentially means purification along with growth and prosperity. The word zakah in Arabic is equals prosperous. It's an act of worship, and it's an act of worship utilizing our money, not our wealth, but our money specifically. And in terms of the Sharia definition, it's specific wealth taken from specific people at a specific time, which kind of essentially means not everybody's meant to pay zakat, which I'll get into a bit later. And some of the benefits of it is the main one, which is the redistribution of wealth, which is kind of a principle in Islam that the people with money should not hoard their money, and the people that do not have money are entitled to support from the state essentially. And one of the other ones is to prevent people from being stingy. So there's two types of words in Arabic. One is bukhul, which is somebody who's stingy all the time, and one is shuhur, who's stingy with certain things. So you might have somebody who's shuhur, is not really stingy, but they're stingy with their money. Certain African dads, I won't say names. And bukhul is someone that's stingy all the time in general. And in terms of what kind of wealth you have to pay zakat on, the main one that's going to be relevant to us in this day and age is going to be our physical cash. But alongside that, you have things like your livestock, your gold and silver, and one of the biggest ones is your stock that you have money on. And the reason I mentioned that one is because as people, let's say you have a shop. If you have a shop and you own the land of the shop, you don't have to pay zakat for the land or your factory or your equipment that helps you generate your products. So if all your equipment that you have, you don't have to pay zakat on that. But in terms of the actual stock that you can sell for money, you have to pay zakat on that. So if you have lots of t-shirts, I don't know, that you sell, you don't have to sell your t-shirt printer, pay zakat on your t-shirt printer. But in terms of the stock of the holding of t-shirts you have, which you can sell to make money, that's something that is that you need to pay zakat on. And in terms of who's eligible to pay zakat, so who's it an obligation on, it's somebody who's a Muslim with an amount of wealth that reaches the nisab, so like the threshold. They need to be free, and they need to 12 Islamic months need to have passed in terms of for them to be in possession of said wealth. In this country, in the kind of the general across all the madhabs, in terms of what you have to pay zakat on, like the threshold, the nisab, it's taken from the value of silver, and the reason was because despite the value of silver being lower, in order for more people to be eligible, that's kind of what we translate our paper money from. So in this country, that figure is it's 595 grams of silver, which in today's age, as of April 2020, corresponds to £230. So anybody who has over that amount in terms of cash, they need to pay zakat on that. And just as a FYI, for gold, it's 85 grams. So when you times that by the value of gold, which as of April 2020, that would equal £3,700, the value of gold. And when it comes to paying zakat on your gold and silver, you can just pay it in cash.
So just quickly,
Yeah.
is that if you have that money in your account, or if you make that money as like salary?
Have
If
them,
you've
have
had that
them
in your position for a
for
certain
12
period.
months. Oh, and just on that 12 months thing as well, yeah. So that 12 months is 12 Islamic months. So generally, there's very few exceptions which I won't get into here. But generally, what you have to do is you have to pay it based on the Islamic calendar, not on the Gregorian calendar. So the best thing and the most easiest way to do that is to do the first day of Ramadan or the last day of Ramadan. Something that's easy to remember, and that's when you calculate it. So you calculate your worth from that day, and then go on that day subsequently. And it's only for business, kind of your money being tied up type reasons, or in a system that works on a Gregorian calendar. Maybe you get paid out every 12 months based on, that's the only kind of times when you can not follow that calendar. You can use something else, but I won't get into that because that is that's somebody for
If they
teacher
wanna
fiqh.
learn more,
There's places you can learn more. I'm back. So in terms of who's entitled to zakat, obviously it's firstly the poor, and when it comes to being poor, the books, they generally divide it into two. So there's the fakir, who's like somebody who's extremely poor and has nothing, and then there's the miskin, which are normally two interchangeable terms. But in this case, the fakir is somebody who has nothing, and the miskin is somebody who's poor but managing. So somebody who's doesn't have money, doesn't have disposable income type thing, but then they're not on the streets begging. Whereas that would be the fakir in this example. Yeah. There's if you read books and you look, it will say, and it's in the Quran, that people who are deemed as like enemies of Islam. So maybe like say you're a Muslim country and you've got a neighboring state who are threatening to maybe invade the country, or people who, let's say I have a friend who's not Muslim, but me giving him some money may kind of encourage him to maybe think about becoming Muslim, because it might open his heart to the goodness of Islam, that type of thing. It is, because in the Quran it's commanded that you're allowed to those people are eligible to be paid zakat too. But in the time of have I got it written down? In the time of Ali radiallahu anhu, this practice was kind of not outlawed, but it was kind of reduced because of the fact that those principles were established at times where the Muslims were under threat and under severe kind of strife and struggle. Whereas now they're being in a stronger position, it wasn't necessary, and there was better uses to focus on the main use, which is given to the poor. So it's not something that's generally encouraged, even though it's not something that you can say is forbidden. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was in terms of using your zakat for means that are like like you get these charitable causes like building a well, let's build a mosque in this area, those type of things. The general principle, like I said at the start of, and the general kind of motivation for zakat is the redistribution of wealth. So generally, the best way to do it, and what was done before, is the distribution of liquid money, because the idea is to give somebody money, or people money that they can actually use, or give something that they can use to generate money, not something that is like a service, like a house or a well. There are exceptions, and there are times when it is deemed acceptable to do something like building a well, but those exceptions, based on the kind of the fatwa that are out there, are quite narrow and quite specific in the conditions. So generally, it's best for people to focus on giving a certain amount of money to people, like money to people, or something that they can use to generate money, like they can sell for money, like gold or something like that. So that is the best way to pay zakat, and that's the recommended way to pay zakat. Not doing something like that's like an initiative, like building a well, buying clothes, like that type of thing, clothing somebody, building a house. That's something when it comes to zakat, not sadaqah. When it comes to zakat, that's the type of thing we should be focusing on. And I just wanted, because that's like literally a whistle stop tour. So like I said at the beginning, this information is quite easy to find. There are a number of sources, a number of books that you can just pick up from any kind of bookshop or whatever that can give you a lot more information on this. But I just wanted to kind of highlight that as one of our little kind of reminders. As always, anything I've said in error is of course from myself and the shaitan, and anything that I've said correct is from Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So yeah, that was Zakat. Whistle stop tour. Back pod wise, anything before we close out? Anything that I wanted to?
No.
We all good, Dula? Dula signed out 10 minutes ago. What are you watching? Top Gear. Are you watching Top Gear?
No, I'm not watching that.
I'm joking. Alright, cool. Abdul Nasir, Jazakallah for coming, man. Long awaited. Don't be a stranger. You come back. Come back. Maybe you can bring the hoverboard next time we try it out on the camera.
Well, you get the constraint, ain't it?
Design it, man. Make it. It's your job, bro. I'll pay you, pal, innit? Alright, cool. Yeah, man. Enjoy your weekend. You're probably watching this on a Friday, Saturday. To our listeners, have a safe, productive week. And stay blessed, man. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.